The champ is here.
We will definitely not shut up and dribble.
The champ is here. I must be the greatest. The champ is here.
I'm going to continue to stand with the people.
The champ is here.
I will not lose.
Oh boy, let's get it, man. We're going to jump right into it. So welcome. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with we. My name is EJ, and I got my man.
MH.
Yeah, we're here, Black in Sports. We're giving a voice to the culture. We won't shut up and dribble, all right? We're interviewing the best in the game, on the court, and in the boardroom, covering it all, laughing at it all, while giving the platform, okay, for the people. So we're going to jump right in. Without further ado, a special guest in the house tonight, boss lady, OG of the WNBA, all right? International player with a passport, you know what I mean? She's been everywhere. Definitely Black Girls Rock. The queen of our aces and the mother, and now Las Vegas local, Miss Rushia Brown. Give it up.
Yay, just call me RB. Since y'all got the two initials, I'll be RB.
RB?
RB's
Okay.
in the house.
I'm with it.
All right. So we like to dive right into it, okay? So give us a shoot your shot moment, all right? This is a time that you just went for it. It could have been on the court. Could have been in school. It could have been in life. It could have been when the brothers is chasing you left and right. Just a shoot your shot moment. Go.
You know, I think the biggest shoot my shot moment was when I tried out for the WNBA. I was not drafted.
Okay.
I was not invited to camp as a free agent, but I wanted to be a part of the league. And in the first year, they allowed for each franchise to have open tryouts.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I went into a gym of 200 women and got me a spot.
Oh,
so
okay.
I definitely shot my
200
shot.
women.
200 women competing for 2 spots.
Wow.
That's amazing.
I got one.
Wow. And that's why we call her OG, like the inaugural season. Like,
The 97 season.
yo,
Yes.
I'm here. Watch me shine.
That's a pioneer. You a
That's
walking
what they
pioneer?
call it, right?
Yeah, that's an
Pioneer.
icon.
When you're a part of the beginning of something,
you an
that's a
icon.
pioneer.
There it is. So, what would you say was your first love, or how'd you fall in love with sports?
You know, funny enough, ironically, I was not into sports. My
Really?
father was a basketball fan. I used to watch the games with him, but I had zero interest in playing. I wasn't trying to mess up my hair, my nails. But when I was a freshman in high school, I lost my father to cancer.
Absolutely.
And I
heard
started
about
getting
that.
into a lot of trouble and just misbehaving, being a problem child. And my family was trying to find something for me to do that
Okay.
would keep me out of trouble. So I started playing sports. You know, they had been chasing me forever to play, but
Play,
I never
right.
wanted to. But then that was also a way for me to connect with my father. So once
Absolutely.
I started playing, I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the process of my working out, getting better, having the results, repeat, work out, get better, have results, repeat. So it just ended up being a lifestyle
Yeah.
for me.
So
And go ahead.
Go ahead.
But that gave you the connection to your pops, right?
Mhm.
Him loving basketball
Absolutely.
and everything.
hmm
That's awesome. Go ahead.
So I saw that you picked up a basketball sophomore year.
hmm
And then by the time you graduated, you were the all awards, had all the awards, and getting recruited by the top universities around the country. So just talk to me about that process from picking up a ball sophomore year to when you graduate in high school, being the queen, being that person.
You know, it was funny because I realized that once I started playing, if I wanted to go to college, because my mother is now a single mother, I have 2 siblings,
Mm-hmm.
and financially, I wouldn't be able to go to college if I didn't figure out a way to get it done. And so sports,
Mm-hmm.
was
Was
my
that-
portal.
was
So
that
I was like,
avenue.
okay, so I can start playing. I'm staying out of trouble. I was always good in school,
Uh-huh.
but just finding a way to put myself in a position to get a scholarship
Right.
is
Yeah.
what I was really looking for.
Yeah.
So I just worked out, got better, and I'm super competitive. Even though I wasn't an athlete, everything else I was always competitive. So once
Okay.
I started
Got that art in
playing,
there. Yeah.
that's it was over.
It was an added component. You already had that, right?
Mhm,
So
mhm.
you were born in the Bronx.
I was born in the Bronx.
When did
Boogie
you
down.
when did you guys move over to South Carolina?
We moved to South Carolina right before I turned 4.
Okay.
Oh,
so
wow.
so South Carolina.
South
where
Carolina
was
South
that?
Carolina's home.
Okay.
I tell people I was born in the Bronx, but I claim South Carolina.
Okay,
Also.
there you go.
Bring me to growing up in South Carolina. How was that?
You know, it's funny because I never knew anything else, so it's always funny when people ask about it. But
yeah.
I lived in the little hood of South Carolina in Charleston called Stratton Capers, and it's just funny because, the people that I was around, I had some interesting characters that were my friends and that put me in a position to learn how to be tough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like fighting every day,
Yeah.
getting beat up, have to go fight for my brother, like all that
Gotcha.
type of stuff. That's
Older
what
or younger brother?
I'm the oldest.
You the oldest.
So I have a sister that's 2 years younger than me and a brother that's 2 years younger than her.
Oh, okay.
So he was the baby boy. So
So when something happened with them, it was on you to
I'm gonna
to
tell
clean
my
it.
sister. Until he got bigger, now it's like I'm gonna tell my brother.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know how that is.
Nice. So, back to your dad. That was why you stayed closer to choose because you were getting highly recruited. I mean, you came in doorbusters. What was it, your sophomore year,
Mhm.
and then you just got all these accolades, and you could have picked your litter. So, tell us about how that process was. Of choosing a school where you could have went to some of these really large Division I schools, but you decided to stay home.
It's incredible because as I started to get the letters from all these major programs,
Okay.
universities like Harvard, North
North
Carolina,
Carolina, yeah.
Duke,
Duke,
Yeah.
South Carolina, like everywhere. And I was just like, yo, like I just started playing.
Yeah.
So I was really excited about the fact that I could see my results. I had a control of what my future looked like.
Right.
Mhm.
And from the time I started playing, I was going to camps at UNC. So everything in
okay.
my closet was Carolina blue. And that was my
Mm.
goal.
That was the goal to get
That was
there.
my goal. I wanted to go,
Jeez.
and I was actually recruited by them, and
Uh-huh.
I'd given a verbal commitment to attend. But when it came time, I just was not ready to leave my mom. My family, they were still going through it. Even though it was a couple of years
Right.
since my father had passed,
Mhm.
those issues of still having lost my father and my family were still there. And I was close to my mom and being
Mhm.
a support system for her as well. So I didn't want to go too far.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah, losing a parent is just it's different, So there's no time that says this was the right amount of time or this was like that loss is just I hope no one ever goes to,
Yeah.
especially at a young age,
Mhm.
right? And then all the success that you've had and you're having to not be able to share that with your dad. I commend you on going forward. Go ahead, man.
Absolutely. So first day on campus, what was that like?
It's
Walking
funny
into
because I went to a school that was almost the same size as my high school. I
Fur-
went to a really
Furman
big high
University.
school. So I went to school in Greenville, South Carolina at Furman University.
Yep.
Just over 2,000 students,
Really?
only 89 African American students.
Wow.
Damn.
And it's funny because I chose that university because of the relationship that I developed with the coach.
Okay.
Like when I went to North Carolina, it was crazy. I was recruited by them. I went on my trip.
Okay.
I get there, and if you know what 88 Carolina Tar Heel basketball was,
Oh.
like my host was J.R. Reed.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I get there and I'm like, yo,
Yo.
they for real, right?
This is
Yeah.
like they
So-
want your girl.
Absolutely. So I got a chance to hang out with the team, men and women, go on
Yeah.
campus and all that. And then when I went to Furman, like they don't have these huge names. It
Mm-mm.
was the coach, it was some of the players.
And the facilities you go to, you're
And
like,
the facilities, like I played in a gym that had 50 lines on the court because it was the recreation center
For
Oh my
everything.
God.
for everything. It wasn't even a major facility, but the relationship that I'd built with Coach Sherry Carter just really made me feel comfortable.
That's awesome.
And so that was what was most important for me.
And it's kind of like that post where they're like girls in basketball, the top 25 things, and one of them is like, I love my coach.
Still
Like
love
if
my
you
coach.
see her, it's just like,
She called me just yesterday when I
Oh,
was in
dope.
Atlanta. She's like, I'm coming to visit you this summer. I'm coming to see Asia. And I was like, what about me? But okay, because she went to South Carolina. She
Oh, that's
graduated
right.
from
Yeah, that's right.
South Carolina. So
Yeah.
no, that relationship was really important. And for my mother as well to know that she was handing over her daughter
That's big. Yeah.
to
The baby
someone.
girl, yeah.
So that made a huge difference for me. Basketball, like I said, it was just a means for me to go to college. So I wasn't thinking professional
Okay.
and what it would look like. There was no professional league at that
Mhm.
time.
oh, yes.
So that wasn't my concern.
You started it.
I was a part of it.
Part of it.
I was
Absolutely.
there.
Pioneer.
Right,
Mhm.
pioneer.
I like that
Trailblazer.
word. Hashtag pioneer.
Hashtag pioneer.
Mhm.
All right. So, when you were in college, how was it recently or how long ago before they retired the jersey and put you in the Raptors?
No, my jersey's been up for a while.
Okay.
Probably
See, hey,
after
humble-
the
humble
Humble
brag.
brag. You see that, right? Okay, it wasn't just me.
That's
No,
straight up.
no, I was
Nah, son,
trying
it's up
to. I
No,
was
yeah, that's
trying
collecting
to
dust right now.
remember the year, but it's actually because I was still playing overseas.
Overseas
as
when it
well.
happened.
So,
Oh, okay.
No, it went up.
Why the
Nice.
number
Pretty
34?
I don't know. My
don't know?
dad was a huge Laker fan.
Mm-hmm.
and I can't even remember who 34 was.
I can't either.
Yeah, not
I can give you 32.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I definitely
I
know
know.
who that is.
Right?
I think when I was in high school,
He must have liked some Barkley during his day.
it must have been. I can't even. I won't even lie. I don't know because when I was in high school, I was number 11,
Oh, got you.
just because
That's the jersey they gave you.
those were the biggest shorts. Like I wasn't trying to wear them little shorts.
You
You know,
said-
back then
You did it for fit.
I did it for the fit.
Did they had back then? They had the t-shirt jerseys like
Yes.
La Tech.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, and
Yeah.
that polyester.
yeah,
And our colors were green and gold. So I was.
yeah.
I'll
I
show
didn't mean
y'all-
to say out
I'll
loud.
show y'all.
You did say that out loud. You're like, oh.
Yeah, you said it out loud.
That
But I'll
color
show y'all a
combo.
picture after we get off. hmm
So, college, fast forward, then you go into the pros, right? So you go international because there wasn't any WNBA.
hmm
What was the first team?
I played in Las Palmas, Gran Canaria, in
Uh-oh.
Spain.
So I heard that accent. So this is the follow up question. Did you learn because you speak what, 3
If
languages?
you count Ebonics, I speak 4.
Yeah, that counts.
That definitely counts.
That definitely counts.
Because we could start talking to a lot of people and not know what the hell we're talking about right now.
Not one word. But you know, it's funny because, like I said, I was born in the Bronx. In my first few years, my babysitters were Puerto Rican.
Oh,
And what's funny is like they spoke Spanish.
and you picked that.
And I picked it up. And so my mom literally had to say, like, yo, she's going to stay with somebody else because she's speaking more Spanish than she was English.
Poppy.
I know. And mama didn't think that was funny. So I
Yeah.
started staying with my aunties while my mom was at work.
Uh-huh.
But so when I went to school and started learning languages, I chose Spanish because that was what.
Because right,
had-
you've been
Yeah.
indoctrinated for
Yeah,
a little bit,
absolutely. So then when I went overseas and played, it was just a matter of the dialects and the different
and that's a big
locations.
thing, right?
So it was huge.
So what was the decision making? I know you were player of the year at Furman. What was the decision making to going overseas? That was just the next step, or how did that process work at that
You
time?
know, I mentioned I had zero aspirations to play professionally. I was going to be a social worker, work
Yeah.
with kids.
Yeah, I saw that.
And, you know, just do me. But my coach called me and she was like, hey, I got a call from an agent. There's an opportunity. They want to see if you want to play overseas. You know, they pay for your housing. They give you a car.
Right.
You get a salary and, you know, stipend for
Stipends,
food. And I
mhm.
was like, what? They're going to pay me, give me a car and a house, and sign me up.
Like, I'm
Wherever
there.
it
So
is,
was it tough
I'm
at that
there.
time to leave family? Since you've been
By that time, I
fine.
matured a little bit, and
Okay.
my
Been in
family
school for a
situation
while,
has got.
right?
And this was an opportunity for me to have financial gains where I could help take care of my
Oh,
family.
no, dope. Yeah.
So that put me in a different position. So
Right.
even though I would be away from my family, I could still send money back. I could still help my mother. My brother was still in high school. Like there are
Mhm.
ways that I could contribute.
Right.
So it was a no-brainer.
So dumb question. You know, one of the greatest movies ever, Love and Basketball.
One of the greatest, huh?
Oh yeah, it's one of the
It
greatest.
is. What, you doubt it?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
It's
Okay.
definitely one of the greatest.
Yes.
But
Yes.
that process, I think when Monica was overseas and the coach was speaking a different language and she didn't understand it,
What
and,
is
then,
it?
and she was like, "What did you say?
What did they
Just get the ball to
Get
you."
the ball to you.
So was it that?
Yeah, it was absolutely that. And
Yeah.
it's so funny because in that movie, she played on 2 teams that
Mhm.
I played on. Like,
Oh,
for
really?
real.
Okay.
So clearly they did their
Research on it.
Yeah.
And 2 of the teams she played on in Italy and Spain, like I
Were
played
both.
on. So in Spain, I didn't have that big of an issue. But when I played in France or Italy
Yeah.
and, you know,
Greece.
Greece,
And
I saw Korea.
and Korea,
I saw Korea too. I was
like,
like,
I can't do nothing. They taught me the cuss words. I can't do nothing but cuss and
the
say hello in Korean.
first thing
Of
everybody
course.
learns in a
Every
different
time,
language.
whenever, because that's what they say
Right.
most often. But that transition was difficult in the sense of the language barrier,
Right.
except for in Spain. But
Yeah.
Italian is very much like Spanish. So I
Okay.
got me a dictionary, and
Yeah.
I told my teammates, speak to me in Italian, and then help me to learn.
Yeah.
So they helped me.
So
My French.
You picked it up by
Same thing.
function then. Because that's what I was
Absolutely.
going to ask, right? Like, okay, so the Spanish, that makes sense. You were getting it at a young age.
Mhm.
So it's just like you
So
said,
that was
dialect.
there.
That was there. But all these other languages, it was just kind of, yo, I need to eat. I need to get to the bathroom and run me my money.
And run me my money. That is the first thing. With my check.
So when coach was trying to sub out, hey, come sub out, you just act like I don't understand what you.
There is no subbing out, and that's the thing. Like,
Oh, no.
especially during the time that I was playing,
Yeah.
you only were allowed 2 imports, is what they call non-national. So if I'm in
Okay.
Spain, you could only have 2 non-Spaniards on your team.
Wow.
So if it's me and the other girl, both of us need to be on the court because we're primarily the best athletes.
Sure.
So if
It was playing.
you want to come out, they turn their head. They ain't looking at
Like,
you.
nah.
They're
Like,
no,
no.
I don't see
I
her. He ain't talking to me. You know how you just look them off? That's what we
Right.
would get. And I'd be like, hey, man, sub. And I
Listen.
walk to the side.
Can I get a water a little
Just
bit?
something.
Something.
But no, it's a great experience because there was just
That
so
is.
much that I learned
Yeah.
in
That's
those
dope.
times. And like you said about the languages, it was about immersing myself in their culture.
Culture.
Like
Yeah.
eating the foods, trying to
Mhm.
speak the language. People receive you much more readily when you are making efforts
100%.
to be a part of their culture as opposed to saying, I'm the American, I speak English, y'all speak
Y'all
English
speak,
too.
and that's
So it changes everything.
dope.
Mhm.
What years in Korea?
Korea was
That was
two, you said what year?
Yeah.
2002?
So that was after.
during the end, right?
That was after the WNBA, after Cleveland.
Oh, yeah, because I was still playing.
It was still playing.
Mhm.
He was
Okay.
playing both,
Mhm.
right?
That's the thing,
Oh,
7
yeah.
years because I
They have
played
to. They have to do
Mhm.
both.
a lot. It's a little different now
Now,
with
yeah.
the CBA and
Yeah,
the
we're
fact
gonna
that
get
they're
to
going to
that.
get some
Yeah.
more
So
money.
so talk about that. Let's just jump to the CBA because that was a question I
Well-
wanted to ask. But
Mhm.
unless you got something
Yeah,
else.
just talk about that process of just playing both like that, traveling back and forth, and
Yeah.
just that process.
It was tough because
Yeah.
you play year round.
That's
You
Yeah.
don't give your
crazy.
body a chance
To
to
heal.
actually heal and recover.
Yeah.
And I retired at 31
Mm-hmm.
when I'm sure I could have played at least 5 more years, but I never had the chance to let my body recover.
Right.
Had I said, okay, I'm going to take a WNBA season off, or I'm just going to play half of an international season, maybe I would have had a different response. But you literally would play, like I had played overseas, and then we had the tryouts for the WNBA. I went straight into the season, and as soon as the season was over, I went to my next team. And then as soon as that was over, I came straight to the WNBA. So that was 7
Wow.
years that I played nonstop,
Year-round ball.
year round, like with maybe 2 weeks off in an entire year.
How did you upkeep your health and your without your body just completely breaking down?
I was just lucky enough never to have any major knee injuries.
Got
Okay.
it, yeah.
I'd had a couple of surgeries in college for my shoulders,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't have any major knee injuries, and those are the things that really get you. I
That
had
get
like
you,
an
okay.
issue with my back, and then towards the end, I tore the plantar fascia in both of my
Oof.
feet in different years.
Ugh.
But I think just because my knees
Held up.
held up
You
for me.
bow-legged. Right? You bow-legged?
No, sir, I am not.
There you go.
They say, I don't know who
What?
they is, but
Well,
they
I
say
was
that
gonna say,
bow-legged.
who is they?
This is coming
They-
from the same guy who wants to know about the extra calf muscle, which we still haven't got.
Man, that's what they say too.
Let-
But
You
They
hear a lot of
say-
this
they say-
right?
Who is
no,
they?
they say if you bow-legged, you don't have knee injuries, you don't have knee problems.
But you know, and especially as a woman, there are a higher rate of knee
Right.
injuries for women. So
Right.
I'm not bow-legged. I'm actually,
Don't say knock
Nah,
knee.
I'm actually like a little slingback. Like if I stand, I relax and my
Okay.
knees go back some. But no, I'm straight. My legs are
Okay,
straight,
yeah.
honey.
Oh,
Straight legs.
I love it. All right, give us that really quick transition from, or just that story. I mean, you gave a little bit about trying out,
Yeah.
but what was that transition
Get
from
into-
going to, being overseas and now this new exciting professional
Yeah.
league that's on your soil? Like you had to be amped, and then how the process can, because like you played international because someone was like, hey, we want to play. Hey, is she interested in playing? Like, give us that kind of transition. Was it something similar?
You know, it's crazy because I had played 3 years internationally before the WNBA started.
Okay.
Graduated in 94, went overseas.
Okay.
The WNBA started in 97.
Seven,
So the season that I was playing in France after the 96 Olympics, you
Yeah.
know, they announced, we're going to start the WNBA. I was
Mhm.
like, yo, I'd be able to play at home because I'm playing overseas. Nobody comes to see me but my mama. and
And that's an expensive trip sometimes too,
and
right?
that's cool. I got and back then it was cheaper. I got $500 for your ticket.
Oh,
It's
there you
cool.
go.
You can come see me
Right.
whenever. But just the idea of being to play in front of my family. Like I'm from South Carolina. They had a team in Charlotte.
Yeah.
I tried out for Charlotte before I went to Cleveland and got cut. But the opportunity to play in front of my family and for them to have an opportunity to drive and come see me, like all this I'm doing, I'm just telling them, like they can't see it. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. And the whole time I'm playing overseas, I'm calling my agent every day. Yo, anybody call? What they say? Somebody
what's
coming to
going
get
on?
me?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Like
Crickets?
crickets. It was crazy. She was like, well, Rushia, you went to a really small school. So now that
Mhm.
decision to go to Furman over North Carolina,
Right.
it was impacting
Yeah.
what my professional career could look like. And I kept saying, but I'm over here killing though.
Right.
They picking girls around me, and I killed her last night. She got 25 and 12. So if they putting her on a team, I'm sure
I'm
that
busting that
somebody,
ass.
I'm sure
I'm
somebody's
busting
gonna
that
get
ass.
me, but nothing. And so she was like, "Look, the only thing that you can do is like maybe try out for a team." So I'd come back from Atlanta, like we were working out in Atlanta, and we
Okay.
drove to Charlotte to try out for the team in Charlotte. Same thing, 200 women, made it to the last 4 and got cut.
Wow.
Came home crying to my mama, who was very unsympathetic. She's like, "So what you gonna do?
Yeah,
Do you
mama.
think you are good enough to play in this league?" And I was like, "Yo, they just cut me though. What you want me to do?"
Right.
She's like, "You got to figure something out." So I did the research. I saw that Cleveland was having their tryouts the next weekend. My brother ended up having to quit his job because he asked if he could have the weekend off. He just got in this managerial position at this shoe company. And I was like, "Nah, you got to work."
Right.
He left his job. So now I'm under pressure for real.
Like, now I got to make it.
Now I really got to make it. But we drove to Cleveland. Same thing, 200 women. Tried out. Made it to the last 4. And they said initially that I was going to be a practice player.
Yeah.
You know, so you can get out
Right.
there, you can be a practice player, no games, no travel.
Wow.
And after training camp, coach called me in the office like, "Rush, you had a great training camp. We're gonna
offer you."
add you to the regular roster."
Yeah.
7 games into the season, she
Uh-oh.
calls me in the office again. It's like, "Listen, we playing LA on Friday on ESPN. You the best matchup for Lisa Leslie. You gonna start." So
Wow.
I mean, like,
Let's go.
I'm
That's
s-
big time.
That's amazing.
and just that, and I was just crazy enough to believe that I could do it.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
like, and a lot of times I'm in a position where people are asking me like, "Well, how do I figure out?" Yo, just go.
Just go.
Because you can't doubt and you can't listen to other people. Because from the time that I picked up a ball, my friends laughed because I
Mhm.
wasn't athletic,
Mm-hmm.
but I was competitive.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew nobody was going to outwork me.
That's
And
dope.
that's just something that stayed consistent in my life. Through my mom and my dad, I watched them work. I knew what work ethic looked like.
I love it.
I knew it was never about a 9 to 5. It was about doing the job until it was done.
Till it was done.
Absolutely.
Till victory.
Until you win.
Yeah.
So
Period.
that mental toughness, that mental stamina, that came from home.
That came from home, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. My father was a contractor. He had a janitorial business. Like,
Okay.
we would be 7 and 8 at night in these office buildings. Rushia, you go take out the trash. My brother had to clean the bathrooms.
Mhm.
Like, everybody had a role, and it was about working together and being a part of a team. So it was never about, "Oh, you deserve this and you're going to have it." No,
Right.
you get what you work
Or
for.
yeah.
So, and
That's
that was
big time.
always there.
Like it.
So what happened? Going back to that Lisa Leslie game on ESPN.
Yo, so
What-
I
what-
scored
what
my
hap-
2. So she wasn't guarding me.
Oh.
I was guarding her.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah. So
So-
what happened on that end of the court?
Yes. So initially, the big Chinese girl, Hai Shang, was guarding me, and she was 6'8", 300. I was like, whatever. I was going around her. I laid up 2 times, and one time Lisa came for the help and threw my joint in the stands. I was like, okay.
Like, she's serious.
Yeah. And so that was that one time, and then I scored on her one time, and I was jumping around. She just looked at me,
Uh-oh.
and I was like, oh. But I was competitive. I kept going at her, you know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I had a good game considering my first start. I probably only had like 10 points, but that was good.
There you
Yeah. You get in
I
foul
was out
trouble?
there
You-
for
go.
defense.
You get the
Yeah,
foul
you got in foul
No,
trouble?
I'm quick. No, I was quick. Let me go back. But no, I had a good game against her, and I always raised my level of play for the keys. Like, I think my best games were always against like Lisa Leslie and Tina Thompson because they
Okay.
were the top.
They were.
You
you
went
know?
after the dogs.
Yeah.
I like it.
No, I mean it's crazy, but just I locked in more when it mattered.
So after when you play, did you pattern your game after anybody, or it was just a natural feel for the game that you
No, I
played
just
with?
did what I did. I knew
Yeah.
I was super athletic. You weren't gonna catch me. You couldn't out jump me, and my anticipation on defense
Mhm.
was incredible. You
Did
know,
you, did
so
you take charges or you was blocking shots?
oh no, I was blocking shots, taking charges.
Okay.
Like my timing was really good.
Yeah.
You know, I could
Got a
really
good feel.
anticipate what
Anticipation,
people
yeah.
were gonna do. So those were the things, and I did what I did. Like, I would average 25 and 12 overseas, and come back to the league and average like 8 and 10.
It was
because
what
my role
role?
was
Oh,
different.
different. Right,
Oh,
right, right.
So I
role.
just learned to get in where I fit in.
That's it.
Man,
All right.
I'm sorry, man. So because that '97 year, like, I think the Bulls won their second
Second.
championship against Utah that year, and then that was right before that '97-'98. That was like when Sammy Sosa started, putting whatever.
When he was still black.
Yeah, before he got
Yeah.
when he
That's
was
what you
when
doing?
he
No,
turned the
what-
lines. I'm just
Hey,
saying
don't say light skin,
he turned light skin.
Dwayne Wade. Stop over there. Please.
But the sports was like booming from that 96 to 98. And so like some of the names like, Cynthia Cooper, I was always a fan of
Oh,
Cynthia
for
Cooper,
sure.
Cheryl Swoops,
Absolutely.
Lisa Leslie and Tina Thompson,
Mhm.
Teresa Weatherspoon. So like
Yes.
just icons of the game. So
Yes.
like I don't know. I feel like there's a nostalgia just talking to you right now about that inaugural season.
Listen, I can tell you that first year, I had no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
But like Cynthia Cooper, I had played against her overseas. 'Cause she
Okay.
had been playing overseas in Italy as well. But that first year of the W, like it was incredible. I remember us going to the Garden and
Oh.
playing Teaspoon
Yeah.
and
Oh.
Kim Hampton and
Yeah.
Crystal
Kim
Robinson
Hampton.
and these
Yeah.
people.
Rebecca Lobo.
Rebecca Lobo, for
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. Good
You
call.
go into the Garden, the mecca of basketball.
Yeah.
You got Spike Lee, Penny Marshall, Denzel, like they're all on the sideline watching us.
Yeah.
You know, like you'd seen this when you go to the Lakers. You see
Yeah.
it when they play in
Play
the
the
Knicks.
Knicks,
But it's the
right,
WNBA, the first year, the inaugural season,
That's it.
packed.
Yeah.
And the same people that are at the Knicks game
What's it y'all game?
are at the Liberty game.
That's fly.
So
Playing
you
at the
would
Great
walk
Western
in-
Forum.
Yo,
That's
it
fly.
was incredible.
Yeah.
Like
Chills.
I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
Like especially when we would go and play LA, like
Mhm.
because I told you my dad was a Laker
fan. Yep.
Like just being in that space
Mm-hmm.
and just all the opportunities that this game has afforded me.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
So like WNBA now, I mean WNBA from the inaugural season to now, what's your feeling about that? Is it like I set the stage for this, what it is now, or
You know, I'm excited to have been a part of it in its
Mm-hmm.
beginning years and being a pioneer, and even more so the impact that I have on the players now.
Mhm.
Because through the years when I played, like I've always made a way to stay in touch with the
Right.
players that were active. As it a mentor or whatever it needed to be, I have a lot of the younger players, and now, especially through my job that I have with the Aces, pouring into these young ladies because there's so many things that they have no idea. Just
Yeah.
like I had no idea, and it
Yeah.
wasn't until I actually experienced it that I knew what was, necessary.
Right.
So
Yeah.
now I can give them a heads up.
I've been there.
Look,
Yeah.
yo, let me tell you what's about to happen.
Yes.
Stop
Step
it.
by step.
Stop that. Like being able to give them an opportunity to
That's
be
good
even
stuff.
more successful.
Yeah.
So let's get into that. So your current role is player program and franchise development manager. That's
Yes.
a very long and
Very long.
studious title.
And full of, and it should say, etc.
Well, I was about to say that too. They got you on the mic during home games. You on the giving the color commentary and out and doing everything. But yeah, so give us some of the duties that you do outside of just the title. Because I mean, I think I read an article when the CBA came out, and it actually named you as saying, "Hey, not every team has a Rushia Brown or an RB."
Yeah.
And that's concerning. So, and then also tied in with, I think you won an apprenticeship with the NBA when they were teaching you the business side of things. And that's so important. And that's why we kind of do this platform is that's not talked about. So just jump in anywhere you want with
Yeah,
that.
and one of the things, like prior to my accepting this position, I was given an opportunity to go to New York and work for the NBA and do an apprenticeship. And so what they do is teach their athletes the business side of the game.
Okay.
And that's incredible because
That
so
is.
many of us, we play
Shut
and
up
then
and dribble.
you try and no. So we try and figure out what it looks like, especially when you get ready to retire.
Yeah.
Like you have such a close affiliation for this game, but you don't know where you fit.
Yeah.
But the NBA is so committed to making sure that their athletes, both on the NBA side and the WNBA side, have a step in the right direction. And they
That's
gave us a one up because like I would not have had the mindset
Mm-hmm.
had it not been for that program. So
That's
now
awesome.
I come into the organization here and I'm ready. I'm prepared. So I did they allowed us to have I chose international basketball. So I worked with NBA International. So I did all the camps and clinics, did all the business stuff on that side.
Took you
and
over to
then I
Africa,
did-
right? Didn't you do
Yes,
some over
I
in
went to
Africa?
Africa with the NBA.
That's
I
big.
did.
You were doing it before
I
Ajiri was
hosted.
doing it. Another pioneer.
Yes, yes. And so just having the opportunity also in working with the WNBA, helping to work the draft and just the different opportunities. Because as a player, all you know is be in your best shape,
Yeah.
step on court and do the
And
best.
play.
You have no idea of all the other stuff that goes on.
Right.
And one of the other opportunities, because when I played, you mentioned all the pioneers
Mhm.
earlier. I had an opportunity a good 10 years ago to play in a celebrity game in Houston. It was Teaspoon,
Love T.
Lynette Woodard, like so many women. And there was
Yeah.
another young lady who came and she'd been a 2-time WNBA All-Star. She played like 7 or 8 years in the league, had a
Okay.
great career. She comes in and just by looking at her, you like, yo, what's wrong?
Right.
Like life had
Life
hit her.
had hit hard.
Hit her.
Yeah.
Hard. And so through conversation, we found out she was homeless.
Mm.
And I'm like, how does this happen?
Mhm.
Yeah.
How does this happen? Like looking at what you come from.
Right.
But she had mental issues while she played. But of course, people just like, yeah, go play.
Yeah,
You're
go
all
do
right.
it.
We'll
Yeah.
help
Right.
you. But as long as she was producing, there was nothing. So I called the league and I was like, yo, what can we do? We have a sister that's in dire need.
Right.
Not just need, she was in dire need. And they was like, well, we really focus on the current players. Mind you, we're in year 12 of the WNBA.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're not prepared for that. So I was like, okay, so the NBA has the WNBA sister. So I'm going to go to the NBA Retired Players Association and see. And they was like, well, we don't allow the women to come into our organization.
Wow.
And I
Wow.
was like, that's messed up.
Right.
But at the time, Charles Smith, who used to play for the Knicks in San Antonio,
Yeah.
he
Oh, okay.
was the executive director. And he was like,
At that time.
Rushia, that came from the board, but I'll help you build something.
Oh,
So he
That's
helped me
amazing.
build the Women's Professional Basketball Alumni, which is the association
the association. I see
that
that.
I
Mhm.
I
You still
started.
you started that, right?
I did. I started
Pioneer.
as to help.
Hashtag pioneer. It's a,
Part
it's a,
two.
Wow.
it's a theme.
Listen, you got to do what needs to be done.
No,
And
it's
so
amazing.
when I did that, it just became a resource for players in transition, understanding how to move to that next thing, be
Right.
it education, job placement, financial literacy, even the
Yeah.
mental
Yeah.
stuff that goes with it. Because when you transition from being an athlete, like the spotlight, to just being
We
a
talk
regular
about it
person,
all the time.
it's really tough.
We-
You're trying to figure out who you are without the ball.
We talk about that all the time.
All the
All
time.
the time. And for football, there's a 3-letter thing that I just don't really care for. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just think there's a lot more mental trauma that goes into it. So who is it? Malcolm Gladwell.
Gladwell.
He says you put 10,000 hours
To
in
be
to be an expert,
expert.
Yes.
and that's like 10 years.
Mhm.
So when you're a professional athlete,
You put more than
you,
that.
you've put in time. You're an expert.
Your 10,000 hours doesn't take 10 years.
No,
Correct.
not
So
at all.
like to tell an athlete, okay, you're 31. You're done with that expertise.
Right.
Yes.
Go find
Go
something
find
else.
something else.
Find another passion. Find
Listen.
another. Yeah,
And-
like
and be
process.
and
yeah.
be great at it
yeah.
at the level that you were at.
Because your mindset is about excellence. And we're
Right.
used to, like I said,
And
when I got into the
competitiveness.
gym, absolutely. You get into the gym, I can control the outcome
Mhm.
based on my work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
When you get into corporate America,
That's ooh,
Yeah.
it's a totally
ooh.
different demographic. And not only that, like I sat on a panel with Isaiah Thomas, and he made a statement that stuck with me, that resonated with me so clearly. He said, athletes are underestimated because we're seen from the neck down. Like people see us as physical
Physical.
beings and not intellectual.
Almost property.
Almost. We ain't gonna go
We
back there, but yes.
hey,
Yeah.
but no,
Yes.
real talk.
So when he said that, I was like, yes, because I had been going through things trying to get an opportunity, and people would look at me and be like, yeah, you played basketball. And I was like, yo, but I'm more than a basketball player. So I
100%.
went through trying to figure out and rediscover myself for other people. I
Right.
thought I knew who I was, but I
Mhm.
had to show them who I
Yes.
was. Because no matter what I did, even now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost 50 years old, hadn't played in 18 years, and people still say Rushia the basketball player.
Player. Yeah.
I have started several companies. I
Yeah.
have a daughter. I
Yes.
have done so many other things, but that is the thing that resonates with them. So that's the box that they want to put me in. So
Yeah.
I had to learn how to say, okay, I'll be that until I get through the door,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have to show you all the other things
Correct.
that make up Rushia.
I mean, it's interesting. I don't want to get too far off subject, but I think athletes, it's rare in any other walk in life that you share a locker room or you're close proximity with somebody that's from Korea or from Italy or across the country, and they have totally different background than you have, but you guys are all working for a common goal. So I always feel like they underestimate athletes just from just a social standpoint of just working with somebody that's totally different from you. You don't. Most people in other situations, other jobs, don't do that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I always, I don't know. I always blink at that. Like, why is it set like
But
that
there
for
are a few
athletes?
corporations and organizations that find value in athletes because they understand how coachable we are.
Right.
Like you are more disciplined than the average person. You have a skill set in which you know how to work with people, whether I like you or not.
Correct.
Like there have been people on my teams, hey man, after the game over, I ain't got nothing to say to you.
Oh,
But while we
yeah,
were on the court together,
Oh, we gonna ball.
bet nobody touch you.
Right.
You know, because it's about being a part of the team. Like
Mhm.
you're self-disciplined.
Setting goals.
You're setting goals, being able to push through any situation, especially
Perseverance.
all of that. I'm not sensitive. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if
Boy,
there's
it's
anything you can say to me that's gonna make me cry. And
Right.
I've been in rooms where people have gotten fussed at and started crying, and I'm like, so what's wrong? Like so, because people can't differentiate what's being said and how it's
It's
being
being
said.
said. Right.
But when
Yes.
you're an athlete, you done been cussed at, fussed at, muffed,
Dogged out.
look,
Dog-
pushed in the back, like everything you under.
Oh,
Well,
sorry.
you
Yeah.
think-
Like, well, damn, coach.
I know, like it makes you question everything. So by the time you push through that, when you get into corporate and people coming at you, you're like,
All right. Yeah.
Right.
like whatever,
Yeah.
Right.
you know. So I just really think there are some organizations that see the value in athletes,
Mhm.
but then there's some people who are also intimidated by that
Mm.
because I know that's one of the things
That's
I
an interesting point.
experienced.
Yeah.
No, you're intimidated, especially
Yeah.
if you think I'm coming for your job.
Yeah.
I'm 6'2".
Mm-hmm.
I'm dark. I'm very outspoken.
Mhm.
You're comfortable in your skin,
I'm very comfortable.
You love you.
in my a lot.
right? Let's
I'm
get it.
I'm all I
Sure.
got.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
so one of
CMB.
those things- but one of those, I mean, like that's intimidating to some people.
Big
Imagine
time.
somebody who's not played sport, who doesn't
Mhm.
understand the concept of team,
Team.
that doesn't know that I bring value to whatever it is they're doing. They
Right.
could be intimidated by me, and I've experienced that quite a lot. And
Oh.
so you learn how to mentally manipulate situations so
Yeah.
people are not as intimidated, even though you just being you.
Just
And
being you.
and you have to adapt to those people, which is people don't understand that that's part of the game that we
It
have to
is.
play.
It is.
Just to
It's
play in those
another
arenas.
aspect
It's another aspect
that you have to add.
just outside of the skills
Mhm.
that you have.
Mhm.
No, it's crazy. All right, so I do want to talk about you know, you do other things and you are a speaker
Mhm.
and you held us down at the Las Vegas preview.
Mhm.
I don't know if you heard me screaming. You had a lot of, because everybody started screaming like I screamed, and then I heard someone in the back scream for you and everything. It was amazing
Mhm.
to see you up there, front and center, holding it down, man. That was a great time. One, how did that come about? And then I want to know, how was it? Did you interact with Roger Goodell at all?
You know, it's funny because prior to accepting this job,
Okay.
I'm a speaker by trade now.
Absolutely. You speak
So
a lot.
this game has given me an opportunity and a platform to go out and impact
Oh,
people's
great.
lives and be a change agent. So I've been doing that. But my true heart work is impacting the lives of players.
Okay.
So I've done that. But since I've been here, I've met so many people. So I got a phone call and they were like, Rushia, we're having a preview and we would like for you to be the MC.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, cool. What does that mean?
Right. Because you think
Let me
like.
get some details. But so they explained, and I was like, yo, I want to learn more about my new city. Because,
Yeah.
I've only been here. It'll be 2 years in March. So I want to learn more. I want to be engaged. I want to see. I was like, okay, for sure.
And funny, I met you like your second day here.
Yeah.
When Tony had brought you by. There was that one school function.
Mm-hmm.
So dang, time flies.
It really has.
Right.
It's almost 2 years. So when they invited me to do that, I was like, bet. I want to meet as many people as possible
Right.
and have an impact in any way that I can. Plus, I love a stage. I love a crowd. I love being the
Yeah.
energy from the people.
Yeah.
So that was really good for
And
me.
that dress wasn't hurting them.
Right?
Hey.
That's my power color right there.
Okay.
That cobalt blue.
Oh, there you go.
Yes,
It-
that's it.
It was better than them college colors.
That's
Definitely.
Look, my college colors was lit. That purple, that's my high school colors. That was that green and gold.
Yeah. That,
I
I
That
don't know.
purple was fire. So, but no, I did get a chance. This is like my third time
Oh,
interacting
with them?
with Roger Goodell.
Okay.
So I've been on 2 other panels with him, and so
Oh,
when
wow.
I saw him,
It was
we've
that
known
familiarity.
each other. So it was a
That's awesome.
blessing. Like I believe highly in networking and meeting people and
Mhm.
understanding because relationships matter. That's one of the things that I teach my
Big.
players. It's just there's no comparison. And
At
having
all.
a relationship with somebody, I can call and be like, "Yo, I need." Just the other day, I called somebody in Atlanta because my little nephew needs an internship.
Oh, yeah.
She was like, "Rushia, whatever you need,"
Boom.
because we've done work together. She knows that I'm always professional. She knows that I'm always going to do what's necessary to get the job done, and that I'm not going to bring somebody to her that's not
gonna
up to
be
par. So
absolutely.
relationships definitely matter.
Nice. So I was surprised at some of the questions. I don't know. I wish we got to submit some questions before
Oh, for Roger
for
Goodell.
Roger, but I was surprised and I was appreciative that they asked about the black coaches. I was surprised that like I sent it to
Mhm.
Miles. I was like, Miles, yo,
Mhm.
they're talking about it. Now you gave a very PC
Of course.
answer,
Of course.
but the fact that he brought it up, it just shows their awareness,
Mhm.
and I think he's doing, a great job as much as he can, right, with the confines. But we're still gonna have a rant about the black coaches situation.
One of these
I'm
days,
ready.
man.
I'm
I'm
not
not gonna talk about that. Yeah,
So-
I'm not
so-
gonna
I
talk
mean,
about that
there
right
are a
now.
lot of opportunities,
There's-
and even in
There is.
our game,
Yeah.
you know, even for the players and then black coaches, you don't get the same opportunity. You have other cultures recycled. They
Right.
get fired from one job, get another opportunity. You get fired as a black coach.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing.
Yo,
You
it's a
done.
wrap for
Yeah,
you.
no matter what the situation was. Yeah.
And maybe
This
now you're in
team-
the full opportunity.
not even a full opportunity. So, and I've listened to so many of the sports analysts on these TV shows
Uh-huh.
talk about it, and I think the one thing that resonates throughout all the mindsets is that because in leadership, they're not any people that
There.
look like us. The decision makers
decision
don't look
makers.
like us.
Mhm.
At all.
And so it makes sense to me because if I'm organizing something, I want somebody who thinks like me,
Yeah.
who acts like me,
Yeah.
who addresses situations like me.
Right.
And if that's not who's in leadership, what you want?
That's why it's even more shout out to you what you're doing now with the Aces. You know, kind of building that bridge and that platform for those athletes. I think the game is, better for it now that after you've left with the WNBA. I think they have a better outlook and a better opportunities. And I think we didn't touch on the CBA, but kind of your thoughts on where we're at now in the league.
Yeah, so before we get on that,
Yeah.
two things that we've already brought up, which is amazing,
Yeah.
is that they're focusing on the mental aspect. So they're
Yeah.
putting that in there.
Mhm.
So that's I thought was a great charge.
Right.
And I just dropped the ball on the other thing that I was going to say
Mhm.
for, we'll just travel. But what are some of the things that you loved about this current CBA? And I know we're not there yet,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a great start. Do you
It's a
did
great
you
step.
feel that kind of
Yeah.
thought about the whole overall process?
I really feel like this CBA shows that there's a commitment to this league and its development.
Got you.
We're like in year 24.
Wow.
24 years. I remember when we first started, people were like, it ain't going to last 5
Yeah.
years. Then at 5, it was like, it won't be here 10 years. Now we're here at 24
24.
years. But the level of commitment with the new commissioner is showing that they're trying to figure out a way to make this not just last, but to be profitable. Like with the relationships and the sponsorship deals that they're putting in place to make sure that the players don't have to go overseas. Like they're putting things in place.
That's great.
Like right now, of course, only the top tier players will get
A
that
percentage.
maximum money.
Oh, got you. Okay.
But the accommodations have changed. When I played,
Sure.
I had a roommate no matter what
Yeah.
from year 1 through 7.
That's wild.
And if I wanted my room to myself, I'd be like, hey, man,
Yeah.
What's up?
I'm going to put the sock on the door and you come
Yeah, you're right. Like, them the
But
rules.
but now they've made a commitment
Are you
to
laughing over
making
there? You know about
sure
the sock on the room door, don't you?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
it really makes a difference for the athletes to
Yeah,
know
it
that your
does.
league believes in you.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I played year round, and now we
Mhm.
have the athletes that may not have to do that.
Yeah.
Because you know what that does to your body?
Yeah. I mean, Brianna Stewart,
Oh my God, Diana
MVP.
Taurasi,
Yeah. Rookie of the
incredible.
year.
And just
Hurt
couldn't
herself.
play
Yeah.
last year
Couldn't
Just
play last
chilling.
year
because she was
because
playing overseas
just chilling.
and
hurt
just
herself. Yeah.
overextended herself.
Yeah.
And then hold on, did
And
it
it's a
say?
lot.
I read that was it Skylar that
Mhm.
just was pregnant? She was playing.
And
She
that's the
played the
thing.
whole
She-
season.
She played through the
Pregnant.
beginning of her pregnancy.
Right.
And the thing is, like,
That's crazy.
That's an unfair
Her
advantage. They have 6 men
commitment-
on the court. There's 6 women on the court.
well, one of them was
Shout out to
not
Quan.
an asset. But it did impact her physically.
Right.
Yeah.
But even with that, like after she had her baby, she didn't get what she needed
Did it.
To support.
to support.
To
Like she
get
felt like
back.
she didn't have the support system around her, and it just made a huge difference. And being an athlete as a woman is
Uh-huh.
very different. Like, yeah, you can have a baby, but will you have a job when you get back? Like the WNBA is one of the most competitive leagues. There are 12 teams with 12 players. There are 144 positions in the entire world of the millions of women that play basketball.
Yeah.
You can look at this year. We may have had 2 or 3 women that are going to retire and leave, but you got a whole draft. So who getting cut?
Right.
Is it a
That's
vet?
tough.
Is it a rookie? Because you can
How
come
many
into the league
on the roster spot?
12.
So there's 12?
12 players.
12 and 12.
So you literally can come in as a second round draft pick and not be on nobody's team.
Yeah.
You might get cut.
Because if you think of like all the colleges and the international, like
Think about the seniors that are graduating, looking forward to being a part of the WNBA draft.
you better come with it.
And even if you come with it, I mean, like, we are in such a place right now where the talent level and the competition
It's up
is
there.
so incredible.
Because you still get those. You got the international players.
That's what-
wow.
yes.
That's wow.
Plus them.
And people, like you said, people aren't leaving just that easy.
No, people are playing. People are continuing to play and just raising their level of competition. So, what are the chances?
When you see them in there, like we always talk about, don't come on the WNBA court for rec ball thinking you're going to do something.
Look,
No.
and Kobe said that, right? Like, this is the best, like,
it
No,
has
that's
been
They ain't no like,
incredible.
and I love Vince Carter in the NBA, but he's what, 22 years in the league?
Mhm.
Nah, you taking up
Mhm.
slots. It's not
you got to go.
it's 12 teams,
That's
12
what they
roster
look
spots. Yeah, it's time
But
for
that's
you
the
to go.
thing, like Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, they've played, I think, like 14, 15, 16
Wow. Okay, yeah.
years. And what you not, DT not on your team? You're not cutting DT.
No.
True.
DT gonna play till she
DT
says
said,
I'm
she's
done.
done, yeah.
Until
Yes.
I'm done.
Yeah, that's Jordan.
But there's
That's
so
Jordan for real.
many
That's Jordan.
talented athletes
Wow.
that are
That's
not getting an opportunity
that
because our league is so
no,
small.
that's a perspective.
Mhm.
That just hit like super home.
No, that's wow. No, that's all I can say. Like that's
all.
wild.
That's all we got was wow from that one.
Mhm.
Ari, touch on this really quick. I know, like ladies like Kara Lawson are now coaching in the
Mhm.
NBA. What's your thoughts on women in the WNBA getting those jobs in the NBA now?
That's
You
part of the
know,
CBA too, though, right?
Well,
Like
there is an
opportunity.
opportunity. Like
Right.
Adam Silver and David Stern, God rest his soul, was very committed to the women being a part of
dope.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
And Adam Silver has just carried on that part of his legacy. And what's amazing is that I don't care where you go, basketball is basketball.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so if you know the game, and that's one of the things, people respect you when you know the game. So it'll be funny because the guys who play the game respect women who play. It's these clowns at LA Fitness.
It's me slapping the glass in
It's these clowns at LA Fitness that disrespect the women.
Rec ball.
That
Rec
didn't
ball
even make
champs.
their JV team that got something to say.
No hairlines.
Look So those are
Yeah,
the
it's
things
me.
that make a difference. But
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I have several friends, like all the women that are participating now in coaching,
Mhm.
are women that I've played with, against, and like Allison Feaster, a very good friend of mine. I
Yeah.
played with her. She's out in Boston. You
Mhm.
got Kara Lawson. You got Neil Ivey.
Becky Hammond should be a
Becky
head coach.
Hammond
Yeah.
at
soon.
some point.
Yeah.
Like they were talking about her getting that New York job. I'm glad she didn't take that.
That's a
'cause
good
that
move
would've
on her.
been a
That's-
career killer.
That's a setup for failure right
Yes,
there.
right?
Leave my
Don't do
Knicks
it.
alone. Leave my Knicks
Don't do
alone.
it.
Leave my Knicks alone.
But I mean, those opportunities just continue to open up for the women, and they are prepared.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
And so, like every time one steps through the door, it just opens it up a little bit wider for the next one of us coming through.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. So putting great product on the court, which is amazing because of the talent. Share a little bit about All Star. We were blessed to have All Star in Vegas. They should just make All Star WNBA in Vegas.
When I tell
Every
you,
time.
all of the players had that exact same sentiment. They was like, Vegas should have All Star every
Every
year.
year.
And it was a different experience because Vegas is all about entertainment.
100%.
And with our president and head coach, Bill Lambier, he's all about making sure that the
Bill.
athletes have the best of everything.
Bill still got that fire, by the way.
He's
That man's still fouling, man. Golly. Stop fouling, bro.
Oh, Bill.
still.
I'm sure he's still fouling. I'm sure he's still fouling. So he's probably beating up Cam Beige in practice. Dude, stop fouling.
No, that's funny. But he's no, like he sets the precedent for what female professional athletes, how they should be treated, and MGM is in a position to set a new standard.
Yeah.
Like we're moving into our 3rd year. Everybody in the league wants to play here.
Wow.
All the coaches want
Want
to
to
be here.
Yes.
So
Let's get that championship.
it's
Let's get
already
that.
low. That's what it's about. I
So,
don't know if
yeah.
y'all have seen the moves we've made,
That
I have.
we've
but
seen a
that
couple of them.
is on the agenda.
So making a hell of a run this year, huh?
Let's go.
Setting up for one.
Yeah, I mean, like last year when we brought in Liz Cambage, that was huge
That was,
Dude.
for our organization.
and I mean, y'all literally got her like off the plane. Let's go play.
yeah, she literally
Yeah.
came in and was
She's like, okay, I needed just a couple days.
can I
just
get a
to-
minute?
Can a
No,
sister breathe
But
for a
she
minute?
wanted to be here, and that's one of the things.
That's
She had
awesome.
gone through a lot, and she wanted to
Mhm.
be here. And even this year, we've made a couple of additions to the team of solid vets
Real nice, solid
that are
vets.
That-
making
yeah.
champions.
Let's
I'm
get it.
excited about what this year is going to look like.
get
But
that
there's
ring.
been free agency has been crazy across the board because
Mhm.
Atlanta has done some incredible things. Like I think so much movement is going to make sure that the league is
Game.
super competitive and the
Flourish, yeah.
fans are going to have a great season figuring out who to cheer for.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
But we bring them out though. Our games
Oh man.
are a whole
Sorry.
different level.
I
Sorry.
have had
Oh
players
yeah, I mean, come on, yeah,
in.
you've played and been to different
No,
arenas.
I've
Tell
been
'em.
in all arenas, and there's nothing like this Las Vegas Aces fan base. And it's small because we just started. We're
Right.
going into our
Yeah.
3rd year.
Right.
And
But they be
I-
out there though.
Yo,
The atmosphere is
The
that can-
atmosphere is
you
crazy.
can't beat it.
Crazy.
You cannot beat it. The
The
energy in that
yes,
building
Yes.
is unparalleled. There's no place that I've been
Mhm.
that is like that. And it's just crazy because at the end of the year last year, some of our fans came with us to Phoenix for that last game.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. They were out there, huh?
Listen, we were louder than the Phoenix fans
love it.
in their building.
I love it.
And we ended up winning that game.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
You know, it was just crazy. But I think for so long, Vegas wasn't given professional sports. And
Mhm.
now the fans are like, yo, we deserve this.
And embrace it.
And we embrace it. And they're so excited. And we're excited too. And the players love it. You can hear after every post game
Uh-huh.
interview, the players are saying, yo, fans, we thank you. We couldn't do this without y'all because that energy
And they
is
feel it.
like the
It's
Sixers.
real.
You cannot beat it. You can't beat it.
We know Mark Davis is a big supporter.
Oh my God, we love Mark. That's my homie. I'll be at the table, and
Table,
every
and
time
you
he
see
come
him
by,
on-
and he come by, give me a
Give you a
fist
little
bump.
fist bump.
We gonna win tonight, and I'm like, I sure hope so. I'm not a part of it, you know. I can't do anything, but no, he's been a huge supporter, and
That's
we
awesome.
appreciate him and all that he's done. Even just by sitting down on the
Mhm.
baseline and
Mhm.
buying tickets, to
Buying a
support
lot of
the
tickets.
yeah,
Mhm.
we have a program where they bring in like a couple of hundred kids.
It was almost
You know?
2,000 was the goal or something like
Yeah,
that. Just ridiculous. So he's a supporter.
He's been a supporter, and so every time I speak with him, I'm like, "Yo, if you need anything, holla at
Let
me.
your girl know.
I'm here for you because I appreciate that. You know, like it's really
Fantastic.
difficult to have people that are all in, and he's definitely one of those for us.
Fantastic.
Love it. So about to get to so your platform. All right. We've talked about a little of the things. You're an entrepreneur, the speaking, starting the kind of program for the alumni and for people. But let's talk to us about what you're doing. You're doing a hosting of a Mama Me and just you get into it. Tell us about the platform. Share it. How we can get involved. All that good stuff.
You know, I have long been a proponent for change. Like I've always wanted to help people get to whatever's next for them.
You're a change agent.
And change agent.
Absolutely.
And so just making sure that I could use whatever resources I have to make sure people get what they need. And I had my daughter very late. I had my daughter at 40 years old.
Okay.
Okay. And motherhood changed my life. You know, like I'd had my nieces and, you know, help raise them. But having my own child, I was like, Lord Jesus,
Speak
there's
on
a
it, moms.
lot
Oh my God.
that goes with it.
I'm
And
learning.
so one of the things that I've started to do is just like build relationships. And I think one of the things that I'm about to do, like I'll be hosting in the summer, is a Mommy and Me workshop. So
Okay.
it's really about developing healthy relationships between mothers and daughters. You know, like I know how close my mother and I were
Right.
and dysfunctional at the same time. You know, like, and a lot
That's
of times
love.
we just, yeah,
That's
and it's
love.
what everybody looks like. But I think a lot of times we look at other people's relationships, not understanding it completely what it's supposed to be,
Okay.
and try and mimic that.
Yeah.
But understanding the individuality that's necessary for both people to thrive. Like I saw my mom as mama. I didn't see her as wife, as businesswoman, as all these other things. But now that I am in a position
that
as a
role.
mother,
Yeah.
like I have mommy guilt because I work a lot. Like
Mhm.
I'm here with y'all now. My daughter's
Right.
at home. I'm not gonna put her to bed at night.
Right.
Like sometimes I feel bad about that. I have to
You
travel to go
travel
speak
to
and
speak
those
the
things.
team.
So
Wow.
what I try and do is let my daughter see me not just as her mother,
hmm
but as a strong, compassionate woman that is making differences as a boss. So I want her to be able to embrace that. So she has to see me as more than just Morgan's mom.
Right.
Yeah.
And so with the Mommy and Me program, we'll start off with like meditation and yoga, but
Okay.
then we'll get into our breakout sessions about the way to communicate and express yourself,
Love it.
and then finish up with like a self-defense class.
Okay.
So it's really about empowerment at every level and
That's holistic,
understanding.
right?
Yeah,
I
it's a
love it.
holistic
Yeah.
approach to understanding who you are. So it's for the moms and the daughters
Okay.
and for the collective unit because
So
it makes such a difference. Your mother is your
that's
most impactful influence.
shout out to moms.
Man, that-
All of them.
Mama's
that's
boy over
huge,
here.
man.
That's big. So talk to us like, so is it going to be session based where they kind of come to the, talk to us about how that format's going to roll?
So it'll be
And you said this summer, like
yeah.
this. Okay.
It'll be a 4-hour workshop. So that we come in, we'll have, like I said, the yoga and the meditation. We'll have a breakdown session. We have therapists on site that will administer some of it, and then we'll do sessions where we break the mothers and the daughters apart,
For the-
ranging from you go mothers
That's
over
smart.
here, daughters over
'Cause
here,
they have
so
to
you can be able to
build your
communicate and
individual.
say who you are and what you are and the things that bother
Wow.
you, and then bring you back in and allow you to communicate with your mother like face to face. I'm a mother and a daughter, so I'll be able to talk to my mom, but I'll also be able to listen to Morgan and hear what it is that
That's huge.
impacts her and
Chills.
what it is. Because a lot of times,
For real.
think about how children are told to hush.
Right.
Like I was.
That's the nice way.
Yeah, yeah. So, and the thing is, like, my daughter is 7, my mother's 75, 74.
Uh-huh.
So the way that I raise my daughter is different from the way that my mother raised me.
Sure.
Mhm.
And even their interaction is different,
Yeah.
but now my mama got to respect the way I raised my
Right.
child.
Right.
So it's just all about understanding boundaries, creating healthy relationships,
I love
understanding
that.
communication,
Big.
and being able to empower one another. And Morgan knowing, yeah, mama goes
Mhm.
and I'm gone sometimes, but mama is working.
And
So
mama,
she
that doesn't,
respects that.
That's huge.
and that doesn't change the love mama
It has
has for you.
nothing to do.
That has nothing to do with anything, and understanding how to communicate that and live in that.
And for me too, not to
Ooh,
feel guilty.
Guilty.
Because there were a lot of times, like
So,
earlier on, when I was doing a lot of speaking. My mom has lived with me for a while and helped me raise my daughter. I'm a single mom,
mhm.
so I remember I had somebody in my inbox on Facebook tell me that you travel too much. You
Oh
should be
boy.
at home with your daughter and blah 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 blah. And initially, like I cried, and I don't cry, but that hurt me because there's nothing I take more seriously than being her
Being
mother.
mom.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And understanding how important it is for her to grow up to be strong and independent and compassionate and all those things. So those words hurt me
Of course.
until I was like, yo, you don't even know me like that. So
Yeah.
you
Kick
need
rocks.
to figure out, like if you see my daughter, you
Uh-huh.
know my child is very strong.
Mhm.
She's not going for it. She's letting anybody, so she doesn't miss anything. But so that mommy guilt is a huge factor for so many mothers that are trying to be great in their own sense.
It is.
That's awesome. So you got a website for that, or when's that coming out so we can put that out there in the
It will
notes?
be on my website, RushiaBrown.com.
Okay, so we'll definitely put that in the show notes. RushiaBrown.com is where you can get all of that information. I checked out that site. You can go ahead and hit her if you want some speaking engagements,
Yes, all of
and
that.
you can see all the files and the videos of her travels and all that stuff. So make
Yeah,
sure
we'll do all
you,
that.
you check that. But we'll put that in the show notes, and also we got your IG up there on the screen. So I'll definitely follow you to kind of see what's going on.
And let me tell
Now
you one more
you have
thing.
another one.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
You got me.
Got you. So more for the youth, right? So you want to do your best life.
Yeah.
So
and
talk about
and that's
best life.
one of the things that I've been doing a program for over 10 years because I mentioned how I struggled after my father died
Right.
and understanding who I was
Okay.
and what made me special, because I didn't understand any of those things, especially growing up in the environment that I was growing up in.
Uh-huh.
And it took me having certain experience to develop a sense of self-esteem and character to be successful.
Okay.
And when I retired, I started working with young student female athletes. I was like, yo, you a baller, but the rest of you is a mess. So I was like, okay, so let's balance you out. And then
Right.
I would see young ladies who were students,
Okay.
but they weren't taking care of the rest of their life. And so then I started doing a component where I just really put everything together, and it's just really another holistic approach to helping young ladies understand that, yep, that magazine cover is not real.
Yeah.
That's Photoshop. You can't be trying to make yourself look like that, because
Right.
she don't even look like that. So
Then body
character
images.
building, yes, body images is really important.
Right.
Character building, self-esteem, how to prepare for college, how to make sure you use your voice.
Okay.
You know, and it's funny because I just spoke about the mommy and me, but all of the things that I do for these other young ladies,
Mhm.
I've practiced on my nieces and my even my daughter. Morgan is 7 now,
Mhm.
but prior, I guess she was like 4 or 5. I was organizing camps and clinics
Okay.
for the WNBA players. So we were in DC, and I was doing a camp for Ivory Lotta. And Morgan, my 4 or 5-year-old,
Right.
was participating in the camp. She was like 4. And there was a guy running the camps, and they were doing these drills, and he would go to say, "How many you get? How many you get? How many you get?" He'd get to her, he ain't ask her. He did that the second time. "How many you get?" The third time, she was like, "Hey,
Yeah.
you ain't
I'm
asked me
right.
how many I get."
I'm here.
Bruh.
Yes, and so she wasn't allowing herself to be
I
overlooked,
love it.
and
Yeah.
that made me proud
Hell yeah.
because that's
For
something
sure.
I teach her. I was like, "Yo, if somebody is doing something that's not right, I need you to speak up.
Speak up
Mhm.
about
Don't
it.
allow yourself to just sit in a space." So those are the qualities and traits that I try and pour into our young ladies, and understand that their individuality is the thing that makes them special, because we all have different gifts and
Uh-huh.
talents and abilities. My comparing myself to you diminishes what I
What you
have.
have. Ooh.
So it's just, like, I love that space and seeing young ladies thrive when they realize the importance of me.
Of me.
And that's what's really important. So my
Dope.
best life is just something that's just really important to me, because it's not a comparison.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's not about anybody else doing anything. It's
Mm.
about what I'm capable of and how I can get to my best life.
And what's that age range? It says youth, but what are you kind of focusing on? Or
Yep, 10 and up.
10 and up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so I can go through there.
What? No, you're not a girl.
You said
this
up.
one.
Oh, it's
I
all for
did.
girls?
So
Come on,
the
man.
one that I'm
It says
doing,
youth. Come
I
on.
actually, so this Friday at the Heroes Gala, the police are having a gala. I'm auctioning it off, and we're going to do a free program for 50 girls. So being able to have them in a space where I can pour into them, and they don't have to pay anything.
That's
So we're going to
unbelievable.
auction it off, and they're going to make sure these young ladies get what they need.
That's
We do
fantastic.
great.
table etiquette. We understand how to introduce yourself, with the power of presence when you walk into a room, how to hold your head up,
Hey, hey.
shoulders back. When I speak to you, eye contact, the proper handshake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, all these things are important.
Mm-hmm.
And
It
I
is.
think our youth are falling back because we're so like this all the
All
time.
the time. We
They
talk
that
can't.
about
They
that.
can't hold a conversation.
It's hard to
It's-
hold a conversation because
terrible.
they're used to just interacting
Right there.
technologically.
Right.
Mhm.
But this is about empowering them and giving them that
That's great.
presence.
So Miles, we're gonna sign your daughter up.
How old is
She'll
she?
get there. 3 months.
Not yet.
Not yet.
You're right.
But we're gonna get her there.
We'll
No,
get her
but
there.
what you're saying is huge. My wife she's an entrepreneur by trade, so she's doing some things right now to further her career. And I think she was having some of that mom guilt that you were talking about. And I mean, that's just I'm getting kind of a little soft and all goosebumpy over here just listening. But that's something that I know that she's kind of going through right now, and that's inspiration. It's inspiring me, and I know she's listening, so I know you're inspiring
So
her.
good. So what's her name?
Kristen.
Kristen, honey, in order to raise a strong, compassionate, caring, loving, outspoken daughter, you have to be one.
Mm-hmm.
And the only
Boom.
way that we create these young ladies coming behind us is to give them an example.
Boom.
And I remember my pastor said, more lessons are caught than they are taught.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Say that
matter.
again.
More lessons are caught than they are taught. It doesn't matter what I tell my daughter. She's going to do what she sees me doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I just try and make sure I'm the best example for her, period.
That's awesome. All right. So getting close here. We have a little section we called the assist. All right. So this is where you get to drop some dimes, drop some jewels, however you want to do it. It could be one of your favorite quotes. It could be something you live by or something you would tell your younger self. I know you post a couple quotes, whatever it takes is one of your quotes, or passion that you have an acronym. But anything that you want to kind of drop a jewels and just kind of, you've been blessing us already, but go ahead and give us the assist.
I think my assist for tonight will be, everybody wants to be number one, but nobody wants to go first.
Ooh.
So in this situation, you see a lot of opportunities and people are talking about, oh, I want to be the best. But are you really willing to do what it takes? Are you willing to step out there and try
Pioneer.
it when nobody else.
Pioneer.
Again, we
Hashtag.
keep coming back to that, right?
That's the theme. Hashtag
Are you
pioneer.
willing
Let's
to
go.
step out there and do
Yeah.
what it takes? Because people want to jump on the bandwagon and then push forward. But if you start something, it's on you to
Let's
set the pathway.
go.
You know, so I just
Blaze
really,
a trail.
you blaze that trail. You can't be afraid. Like
Yeah.
when there's a need for something, create it. Don't look around and say who. Say, okay,
Okay.
you.
Me.
Let's do it.
Let's get it.
And so I'm just really, I encourage people to not second guess
Right.
themselves when they have an opportunity, because so many times we are looking and say, well, nobody else did it yet. Good.
Right.
Let me get at it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just really makes a difference. And it's just really important for us to put ourselves in a position to be successful. Like I said, no comparisons.
None.
Get it done.
I love it.
That's big time.
That's big time. Whew. Oh,
Yeah, so
look at
silly.
this.
I need a
Hercules,
Yeah.
Hercules,
Please.
Hercules,
Come here. Hey,
Hercules.
listen, I drink to that.
I drink to that.
Right. Cheers. Woo.
I'm about to raise an offering for
We gonna pass the
We gonna
collection
pass the
plate.
collection a little bit.
the
Ain't nobody in
benediction.
here
The doors
but
of the church is
us.
open.
Ain't nobody in here but us though.
The doors of the church is open.
Oh my gosh. Well, hey, I mean, there you have it. I want to thank you all. I definitely want to thank our guests. Definitely had it down. So RB officially, you know, and I got my man,
MH.
and I'm EJ signing off. And I want to thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show tonight and you picked up some of those jewels and those nuggets. You know, please follow us on all of our platforms, all of our social. We have launched the podcast officially. So we are on your favorite podcast. So iTunes, Spotify, Google, iHeart, all of that good stuff. But you can still find us on YouTube, IG, and Twitter. And the Facebook is coming, says our producer Quan. So, hey, just let you know, thank you. I really appreciate you. I love you, and know that I'm rooting for you.
Screaming, all us blacks got is sports and entertainment until we even.
Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yo. Look. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Spent about 2 racks on handmade new rags. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. That's everybody from sports to college class to rap. I'm back.